Here's Rob Dibble.
Oh, there's a lot to unpack today. We'll have Bob Joyce coming up here to talk some UConn sports at 3:25. At 4:25, we'll talk about them Bengals. And Bengals are pretty damn good.
Hooday!
They have now beaten the Kansas City Chiefs 3 times in the calendar year of 2022, so it's got to burn their britches as how well that orange and black team is playing in Cincinnati. But let's get to the NFL real quick before we get into the MLB. We got all off season talking MLB and the hot stove and all that kind of stuff. The one thing I will say, what are the Yankees doing? What are the Yankees doing? All these other teams are signing the big free agents, not that many more left, and the Yankees are doing nothing. And even if you bring Judge back, you still don't have the pitching. Now the pitching's across town with 2 future Hall of Famers. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But I'm not even going to start with the Cowboys. Let's start with the Giants and the Commandos. That is a brutal finish to an NFL football game. I don't care what anybody says. I know you're not trying to get anybody hurt. But when it comes to how the season's going to shake out in the NFC East or in the NFC, what are the Commanders going to do? What are the Giants going to do? What are the Cowboys going to do? Listen, I think the Eagles are going to win the division. I think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC East. I think it's a great division. But now you're trying to figure out where the wild cards are set up. So I think it's a situation of you got to finish that game. You got to get a victory there. Figure out who's got the loss, who's not. Tie does nothing, I think, for me. I don't know what it does for these two teams, but 2020 is your final. Honestly, it wasn't a bad game. It wasn't a great game. It was just 2 really good teams that couldn't figure out a way to make an adjustment to get that final score.
And Graham Gano, oh, man, don't you know? He was right on the money, but a lot short. And
Yeah.
it just
Not the leg.
I just wonder, like, why are you running these guys out there? I feel like the probability of you throwing a Hail Mary is long. It's a tough one to accomplish, but so is that kick. Like, that kick, I feel like nobody in America, maybe Tucker, maybe a couple of other people make that kick. Maybe. In great circumstances, not outside in the Meadowlands in 35-degree weather. I think the wind was going right at him, by the way. I think it was right in his face. 2020, the tie, it is what it is. If you look at the New York Giants' last 3 weeks, is nothing to smile about. I mean, 2 losses and a tie when they were rocking and rolling. I just feel like the party has kind of died down in New York, and you need to get back to winning some football games. They've got 2 big ones. One again with Washington in 2 weeks, and then next week they take on the Philadelphia Eagles, who just destroyed the Tennessee Titans. The Philadelphia Eagles look like they are clicking everywhere, and they're very healthy, too, compared to a lot of these other teams. And then the other team in the division looked awesome last night. Now, I know, I'm going to tell you right now, is against the Colts. Colts suck.
But they didn't. For 2 quarters, they played pretty well.
They were close to taking the lead in the third.
It should have been 21-20. I don't know why you go for 2 there. You got stuffed, and so it's 21-19. After that, the wheels just came off. And a lot of people will be like, well, the Cowboys smoked them. No, they made some bad decisions. I'm not going to put this all on Matt Ryan and him throwing into coverage because one of their best guys, Brown, is now done for the season. He has a torn Achilles heel, so that hurts their defense in the secondary with the Cowboys. But then there was a can of you-know-what was opened up. And that happens sometimes. So sometimes it's better to lose that way than to lose like by a point in the final play of the game. I just felt like, listen, Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott are a 2-headed monster that right now very difficult to stop. They have some really good wide receivers. I think the biggest news is not even that score, is that Jerry Jones is enamored with OBJ. Odell Beckham Jr. will not try out for these teams. He is just showing up in person, doing a meet and greet, and expected somebody to give him a multi-year contract. I think that would be insane for the Cowboys to do something like that. I think they have enough weapons on offense to win football games. They just need to stay healthy. And you still got a long way to go before the season's over. So I think attrition is the biggest enemy of the Cowboys right now, or the Eagles, or anybody else. Look at what happened to the San Francisco 49ers. They're rolling. Jimmy Garoppolo's gone. Now you might have Baker Mayfield as your quarterback, or you might have Mr. Irrelevant as your quarterback. I don't know what you're going to do. There's a lot of what-ifs right there. But I thought that the Cowboys played another good game. Not a great game. They still made some mistakes. And the Colts looked really good for the first 30 minutes of that football game.
You're holding them to a higher bar this time around, I feel
Well, because the Eagles are in front of them. I'm not holding them to a higher bar, and I don't agree with Orlovsky saying that they need to go all the way to the Super Bowl to be a successful season. The Eagles are a better football team all the way around, and I think that the Cowboys have to stay up with them, and it's not going to be easy. It's like the Buffalo Bills. Let's take the New York Jets for we talked about Mike White. Everybody was on the Mike White bandwagon. Well, he played the Vikings. The Vikings gave him some room in the second half, and he looked like a world beater, but that was after they opened up a really good lead on them. I thought the Vikings dominated. I think the Vikings are a much better football team than people give them credit for.
Well, for Dallas, their last 3 weeks have been really good, starting with a big win over Minnesota at Minnesota 42-3. Then they really knocked down the Giants back down to size of where they are right now, 28-20, and then the win last night. I think with Michael Gallup coming back, I'm a big fan of this guy. He had 2 scores last night. I think he is everything you need on the outside. And then the best receiver on the team, CeeDee Lamb, dude, that dude's electric. You get that guy the ball into open space, and good things will happen. And I love how Ezekiel Elliott is just like, okay, Tony, you want more carries? Go ahead. I'm not going to gripe about it. I think that relationship between the 2 running backs, I'll say it's a thunder and lightning combo. Yeah. I think they got everything they need on offense. Defensively, they're opportunistic. And you talk about Diggs always giving up touchdowns all the time.
He got burned a couple times yesterday.
He did get burned a couple times yesterday.
Unbelievable with this guy.
But
fell down the one time. He wasn't even anywhere near the receiver on that one play.
I believe they have the best defensive player in the game, though, in Micah Parsons.
Absolutely.
Like that guy almost had a pick at point-blank range. He got his hands on a ball that was thrown out to the flats at about 2 yards away from Matt Ryan, almost picked it off. The guy's an incredible athlete. If you line him up in the middle, if you line him up on the outside, no matter what, you got to know where number 11 is when you're on the offensive side of the ball playing Dallas on D. I just think Dallas and Philly are right now, I wouldn't say neck and neck. I agree. I think Philly's a couple strides ahead of Dallas and where they want to be. But the Giants and the Commandos, you cannot tie like one way or another, whether it's Washington, whether it's New York. You're on the outside looking in this division, and the rest of the league is catching up. I don't think all 4 get in, but I do think those 2 are locked, and then maybe another one gets in. 2 weeks from now, that game in Washington is going to be really big for both teams to keep their playoff hopes alive.
The Jets, Mike White. We sticking with Mike White?
I don't know, man.
He's got Buffalo coming up, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He threw the ball really well in the second half when they had kind of a soft secondary and they were, laying back, but didn't do anything in the first half. Missed a lot of easy passes. I watched the whole game because my brother was over and he's a big Vikings fan. But I'm not sold on him either. I'm not sold on Zach Wilson or him. I just think that's a pretty good football team. You just need to, like you said, you got to get your weapons the ball. And the more you can get them, this is the problem I have with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott sometimes has guys wide open, underthrows them, overthrows them. They're right there. Sometimes he's inconsistent. I think the same thing goes for Mike White or whoever. Look, and Bill Belichick just said, we're too far into this right now to make a big change.
Yeah.
And I think that means we're not making a change at quarterback. We are who we are. We just got to execute better. I don't think there's too many better coaches than Bill Belichick. So I think a lot of teams are in the same situation where your quarterbacks have to play better. They have to be smarter. I'll tell you who takes some hits, Kirk Cousins. Watch the whole game. Watch that guy sit there, deliver the ball, and then take some wallops. He took a helmet to helmet that should have knocked most guys out of the game. Got right back up, got in there. It looked like he shake the cobwebs off. But he's a really good quarterback. And again, we talked about Aaron Rodgers destroying the Bears. Bears are now eliminated from the postseason. Aaron Rodgers finds a way to win, even with undermanned staffed.
And for the Jets, I feel like they're so deficient on offense that, I would love to say that the Jets could have a possibility of winning a Super Bowl this year, but offensively, they're down 2 incredible running backs. They had to go to Zonovan Knight against Minnesota. No Ty Johnson really available. He did get in there, but didn't look like he was 100%. Their receiving core and their quarterback are young. They just don't have the games under their belt like the rest of the league. They're getting there. They're doing the right things. The defense is great. The defense is great. Kirk Cousins,
I think the defense is outstanding.
He played a great game, but he didn't take many chances because the secondary is locked down. They had to go underneath a lot. And I thought the best player in the football game and even going in is Dalvin Cook. And Dalvin Cook can just take over. It makes life real easy. I think Minnesota has what it takes to win a Super Bowl, but I still put Philadelphia and Dallas way above them from what I saw even from yesterday. Mike White, to me, he's a gamer, man. To me, like, he's not going to be the guy that is going to come in and everything's going to look really easy and they're going to do things methodically and they're going to push it down the field one first down after another. You can get some gunslinging with old Mike White. You're going to have to take some bad with some good. But the one thing is, that dude's going to give his receivers an opportunity to make plays. Still, I know the 2 picks. The first one was rough. I mean, that was like the first couple of plays in the whole game, and that kind of takes the wind out of your sails. But the guy can still spin it. I think he's a better quarterback than Zach Wilson.
I think Justin Jefferson's the best Viking offensive player, but that's
you could be right on that as well. Sauce didn't do too bad.
But you don't get him without trading Stephon Diggs. So I think it takes a lot of guts to trade Diggs to the Bills.
Right.
Bill, he's been great for the Bills, and then you get the pick with that trade, and you get Justin Jefferson. So I think both teams have made out in that. But that dude's unbelievable, man. They're even starting to throw him the ball in the backfield. Like you talked about CeeDee Lamb. I love that dude. You got to get him the ball more. It's, anytime you can get these guys the ball in the backfield or by the pass, it's going to help you offensively.
For sure. I thought it was a fun week in the NFL. I mean, the Cincinnati-Kansas City game, though, was one for me.
Fabulous game.
I'm back on the train of who day thinks going to beat them Bengals. Like, I love what I see with Joe Burrow and company. No Joe Mixon, no problem. P. Ryan stepped in with a 100-yard game on the ground. They just got weapons for days. And Burrows gets them the football.
Yep.
That's and any means necessary. Of course, he throws some dimes here and there, but a lot of it is just a quick slant route to T. Higgins and let him do the rest. A quick slant route to Jamar Chase and let him do the rest. These guys are superior athletes that they can really make a quarterback look good. And Burrows has been doing that since LSU. He knows what's on the table. He knows all he has to do is get the ball to some of these playmakers and let them do the rest.
Yeah, Mahomes is insane, too. If one for that fumble, which was questionable, we'll talk to Mike Petrelli about that. That was the game changer. And that's why you always go for the ball sometimes when guys going down. You never know when you can pull it out of his hands and it becomes a turnover. That was the turning point. And like you said, P. Ryan gets the ball. Actually, they threw it to, what was the kid's name that caught that last pass? Chris Evans.
Yep.
Never see that guy in a football field. We'll talk to Mike Petrelli coming up in the 4 o'clock hour about that. He goes in there, he gets an 8-yard touchdown pass, and he's the hero of the game.
What do you know? What do you know, man? Welcome to the NFL.
All right, let's talk about the U.S. men and their debacle against the Netherlands. We didn't think they were going to win anyway, but, as I'm watching the first half unfold, you could see what the Netherlands is doing. They're sitting back. It's like a prize fight where you punch yourself out. So the U.S. is chasing them around. They come down the field, they score. There's, a couple minutes left in the first half, and they come down, they score again. I thought the game was over after that. I mean, it sucked the life out of, I'm sure, that team, but everybody else's hopes. I mean, but listen, I'm not going to badmouth them. It's just you can't get to the point where you're like, hey, getting to the knockout round every 4 years is a huge victory for it. It isn't. We have 330 million people in this country. We've got to figure it out. Some of these tiny little countries beat our butts badly every 4 years. So figure it out. And it's just my whole life I've been waiting for this, the men's side to pull their weight. The women are amazing. They're one of the best on the planet, and they have been for 30 years. But the men, quit making excuses for them. Quit saying in 4 years they're going to be great. Really? In 4 years, they're going to be great? You don't even know what the hell's going to happen in the world in 4
totally
years.
Agree with that.
You have no idea who's going to be on this team in 4 years. So I hate excuses. The other teams executed, and the U.S. was sent home with their tail between their legs.
So many things about Saturday morning. It just disgusts me and throwing up in my mouth. By the way, big thanks to our friends at Shays. Shays Pizzeria and Pub was the one place I went. And that place was loud, a lot of orange in the world in Shays land, but also a lot of United States scarves. And a lot of people who just showed up to the bar because it opened at 9:30 and didn't realize there's a soccer game.
Right.
But I'm having the same conversations I have every 4 years, just like you said. How are we not good? We've got all the best athletes in the world, but we're not good at this sport. Like, yeah, I know. It's the incentive of college scholarships and how much money these guys make. And like, why is the other team, Netherlands had the ball for like 30 seconds and they score. And like, we just kind of kick it around. I'm like, yeah, I know. I don't know what to tell you other than I'm sick and tired of waking up early in the morning to support this crew of jerks. And like, what? Are we going to have Pulisic as now like the Donovan and Dempsey? And
I don't want to hear it.
These two dudes are like in suits and they're well paid. They're doing all the. Why? They sucked. They were bad then. They're bad now. So what? Is this Pulisic because he scored one goal? One goal.
What about Alexi Lawless? What the hell's his deal? Why is he so popular? Did he have one goal 15, 20 years ago, 30 years ago? And
pretty sure he played
like,
defense. I think it's because of his haircut back in the day.
But now he's like old and gray like me. And it's like, I don't want to hear this guy again. I thought they did great. No, they didn't, dude. They lost.
They didn't.
They didn't. They didn't. It's like going to the Olympics and not getting even a bronze. We didn't even sniff the podium.
Didn't even sniff it.
I don't want to hear it.
And it's somewhat embarrassing. It is embarrassing. It's been
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
I think shut the program down. I agree.
Why waste the time?
We're gonna get fooled in
Why
4
waste
years.
the money?
You know, all three of us are gonna get fooled 4 years from now and be like, "This is the team. They beat Ghana 2-0 one time." And you're like, okay, all right, I'm going to wake up at 5 in the morning. And
they beat Iran, who they don't even have a field to practice on. I mean, they're dodging landmines in their country, and whoa, you beat them.
Barely, by the way. Barely.
No, dude, come on.
I want to say that.
And how about the back line of the Netherlands? The goalie's 6'8". You got two 6'5" guys back there. Didn't you learn anything from that? How about we get some bigger guys on our team instead of these 5'6" guys? Oh, they're so fast. Yeah, but they couldn't do crap against the Netherlands.
They're weenies.
Got to be able to make adjustments.
Need like Giannis, a guy that size to play goal.
There you go.
Something like that.
Something like that. I mean, come on.
It's
We didn't stand a chance.
been a tough
The
soccer
Dutch. We
couple
got
of
beat
weeks.
by the Dutch.
I like them too. I like that
I like 'em a
Memphis
lot.
guy, like the Virgil guy. I think
Dumfries.
yes,
I like that
Dumfries,
dude.
I like that guy. You probably loved all the tats that they were tatted up, man. I had to tell.
Dude, they're Dutch. They're not. They got clogs they're walking around in, and these wooden shoes, ready for Christmas with Kris Kringle.
Maybe that's the problem. We have our guys in comfortable, Nikes and
No, we got our guys in
Adidas,
Crocs.
Crocs.
Yep.
And we need to go wooden shoes, make them uncomfortable for
That's right.
350 days, and then
That's the whole thing.
World
Make
Cup
them
time.
uncomfortable. Make them uncomfortable.
I don't know. I'm not proud of it.
No,
I'm not proud of it. I do think there's something to do with me. I've been to.
You're a bad luck?
I think I'm bad luck.
Not you.
Every soccer game I've gotten up for and I've told people about, and it's like, all right, we're getting up and we're going to go to the game and it's going to be fun. No, it's not. And I'm sorry that I made anyone in my life join me in this little fandom. And then I met some people from downtown Hartford on Saturday night, and they said, hey, Sunday, big day downtown Hartford. The Polish National House, PNH, just down the street. We go there every now and then. They're going to be having a big Poland versus France watch party. You should go. Oh, I went up in there, dibs. It was wall to wall, red and white. Everybody's got their Polish gulags going and drinking their Shivik. Just sad and depressing. No goal
France
scored.
beat their butts.
France beat them. It was
I am from
I
France.
feel like it's my fault. So Portugal tomorrow. I know my friends at the Portugal's Men's Club will be Ronaldo strong tomorrow. I will be going. I'll be wearing a Ronaldo jersey, but I feel like that's all I can do because if I go any other extra step, I'm just going to be a bad luck charm and Portugal will be out.
All right, let me give you the rounds real quick, and then Bob Joyce will come in here. Netherlands will play Argentina now. Croatia will wait for another team to play. England plays France, and Brazil is winning 4-0 right now over Korea. Mm-hmm. So South Korea looks like they're going home, but yeah, I think Brazil will probably play Croatia.
Okay.
So what do we got? We got Morocco coming up. We got Portugal, Spain coming up.
Portugal, Spain.
Can't wait for some of these games. I'm kidding. Bob Joyce coming up next. We are going bowling. Bob Joyce will tell us where we're going, what happened to AZ Fudd against Notre Dame, and we'll talk about some hockey and all some other stuff about UConn sports next on the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell on your afternoon drive. Happy Monday, everybody. Kurt Kaplan on the ones and twos. We'll be right back.